16th anniversary we as a church. Even though we're less than 1 year in Canada, it's important that we celebrate with the church here. It's one church. It's never been two, it's never been three. It's always been one church. And it's very important that we understand what that means in everything that we do. Yesterday we started our Bible study and prayer meeting, and we're going to continue today. Just to review what it means to rediscover purpose and why purpose is so important to us. I'm going to be using the slides in front of you right now. So I'm just going to start, and I hope the audio is okay. We had challenges today, so I want to see how we can fix that today. It's because I'm mobile and it's been a bit difficult to settle down to something that works the way it should, but I will get it right eventually. It's our 16th anniversary, for which we're grateful to God. Excited about it. There's a new work in Canada, that's where we are, and very hopeful about it. So let's move on. Like I said yesterday, we want to get it right. We just need to get it right. We really need to get it right this time. We need to get it right. You say why? It's because it's the end time. You have no idea. I just spoke to a friend who just came in from South Africa yesterday or the day before, and it's bad. It's bad everywhere. It's the sign of the end times. It's the times that we were scared of. It's the place we didn't want to go. Now we're being forced to take that into serious consideration. If you don't mind, I'll just stay at the corner over there so that I can keep the slides in front of me. And seriously, what do we do? How do we fix this? How do we do this in such a way that we can get the will of God, the heart of God for what's happening? And so I'm facing the wrong directions and trying to fix that. Yeah. So anyway, basically that's where we are. And, I'm very hopeful that we can do that together. So like I said, it's very important that we get this right. So let's move on very quickly. Like I said, we need to get it right. We tried to watch a video, which we did, and we looked at Psalm 57, verse 2. I cry out to the Lord Most High, to God who fulfills his purpose for me. This is found in the context of David in trouble. As king, before he became king, when giant slayer, he was a shepherd boy in a position, and his Bible was told him to be the next king of Israel. And it took 15 years. The church 16 years old. So it's not an unusual time in the Bible to find help or to pray to God for help. It'll be 15 years for God's word of life will come to pass. Story of Joseph as well. Many years, took years before the word of God. But the Bible says the word tested him. So I believe we're being tested by the word, and I'm very hopeful that we will get it right, and this is the time to get it right. Yeah. And this lady, Misty, that's her name, says, have you ever been in a period of waiting on God's promise? Wow, David waiting to see God's promise something. Life was anything but easy. He was being attacked on all sides. The very words were written by David. These very words were written by David as King Saul was in pursuit of him, trying to kill him. David was a great warrior and had many enemies, with the enemies of God's people as well. But King Saul, the king of the highest authority of the Lord, wanted David dead too. David could have said, why me, or denied his purpose, but instead he said, I cry out to God Most High, to God who fulfills his purpose. We've been running this whole thing to fulfill his purpose for me. When the highest authority of the land pursued David, David pursued the highest authority of all. So let me say this, and seriously say this to you, that I truly believe that I explain this without switch this around again. Hopefully, I'm able to give you a full screen again. How do I say this without without purpose? Life doesn't make sense. Tonight I stumbled on Justin Bieber's song Purpose. I'm still studying it. But the few seconds that I was able to watch that, I thought that was really powerful. That was really important and really significant that he would sing the song about God giving him purpose. There's a sense in which you and I must embrace purpose, or else nothing makes sense. COVID wouldn't make sense. The death, the destructions, the things that are happening make absolutely no sense. And look at what David says here. I thought that was really confirmed. The God who is the highest authority over every person and circumstances. We've got to understand that God is after purpose. He does nothing without purpose. There's nothing God does that is not connected to purpose. I want to take you straight to a particular teaching that I began yesterday, and it's written by, I can't remember, but it's from Morning Stars Ministry. I thought we should look at it together as our Bible study. Very interesting topic and interesting. So let's have a look at it. How the four purposes of man are restored in us. I've also asked that it be published in our bulletin, and it's listed by Rick Joyner, how the four purposes are restored. You know, I want us to take our time and do this right, if you don't mind. So we all have a part to play in the ministry and purpose of the church. And until the church is restored to its original purpose, the restoration of its members to the purpose will be crippled at best. We run in so many directions. Listen, one of the lessons I've learned very early in life is the fact that whenever there's going to be problems in life and in the country, in the world in general, historically, whenever there's going to be a backsliding, there's going to be errors, the errors usually start in church first. In other words, divisions will start in church first, racism and all the things that normally take over and engulf the entire world usually starts in church. You'd be surprised, many years ago, I had the privilege of going to Rwanda, to a special project to attend a conference. And I decided to take some time to go study to visit the museum, the Genocide Museum. And one of the most unbelievable experiences of my life. I spent hours there. I was overwhelmed. It was unbelievable to see man's wickedness to man. And yet, as I moved from one place in the museum to another, I discovered something very interesting. The church was involved in the killing, and the exact opposite happened with the Muslim community. They protected their own, and they even protected Christians. Not only that, reverend fathers and preachers were involved in it. Now, as if that wasn't bad enough, and you could say, well, they're bad eggs. There's a section in the Rwanda Museum that is set aside for all the genocides that have happened, all the recorded genocides that have happened. And when we got there, the first one, obviously, and the most popular one, is the one of 4 million Jews being killed by Germany, by Nazis in Germany under Hitler. And what really shocked me and blew my mind and threw me off was the fact that in that museum, it was written there that the Nazi took their propaganda from the message of Martin Luther. Martin Luther at that time had been my hero who brought out faith and salvation. Now, I'm not holding Martin Luther personally accountable because I don't know what was in his mind, but I'm not judging him. But I'm simply saying the Nazi movement based their doctrine of killing Jews as Jesus Christ killer based on Martin Luther's teachings. I was shocked. All my energy drained out of my body and sat down for maybe an hour or two just trying to figure out what happened. And I was fortunate that day to listen very clearly, and I heard a word from the Lord, and God said, everybody I've used from Genesis to Revelation flawed human beings. And flawed, not necessarily flawed as in negatively, wickedly flawed, but flawed because their flawed errors do come. I don't believe for 1 minute nothing meant for genocide to appear, but the way he presented his truth could have made certain people feel and blame the Jews for the death of Christ. Now, I haven't said that because I know it's my sin that killed Jesus. And so when he says here that we all have a part to play in ministry and the purpose of the church, until the church is restored to the original purpose, was the church of its members to their purpose we creep at best. We're struggling with that back at home now. We're struggling with that in every nation in the world. Look at what is happening. Look at what's happening. Look at how it's divided we're in church. Look at how focused we've become. See how we've become involved in political agendas. See how we've left the very thing that God asked us to come and do. And we've begun to even take sides. And if you remember on that hill that day when Joshua had to take Jericho, he climbs up on this mountain and he sees this angel standing there. And he goes to the angel and asks him, says, whose side are you on? And the angel says, what? What side am I on? My friend, take off your shoes. God is not on any side. You get on God's side. And that's what I want to start with this evening, is to think, just think. Continue like this, if we drift away from purpose, our entire life, ministries, churches, would lose. And the thing about God is this, and I'm speaking seriously, not just to you, but I'm speaking to myself. God will just wait and find a generation that will do his will. But I want to be part of that generation. And so I want to encourage you. You don't have time to focus on your marriage and your children. You don't have time to focus on making money. You don't have time, except that's part of your call. But the point I'm going to make, you don't have time to make that your single focus. You have to live the life that you need to live right now in the place of purpose. You've got to bring purpose into your life. You'll be shocked, as I have been, that when I discover my purpose, I'll find that it's good, it's acceptable, and it's perfect. And I'll see all the things I've been chasing after and involved in it. Because he already told you, seek ye first. And all the things that the Gentiles are seeking after. Let's take this a little bit further. He says, presently, in general, the church is far from being a dynamic, powerful force for reconciliation and restoration that it is called to be. We still take sides politically. We're still not caring about the widow, the orphan. We're not caring about God's purpose is being carried out on the earth. And 98% of God's force to do restoration and reconciliation have been put aside, and they are just spectators in church who just come and go on Sundays and give offering. We're struggling with all that, Now, however, many present and future leaders of the church have caught the vision of what is supposed to be, and the momentum is picking up for the church to be restored to its purpose. And I want to believe that we are one of those right now. And God is straightening this out. Listen, I had a friend who many years ago, I used to stay with her in the UK, and she used to walk in the UK. And she got there a few months before I had the privilege to come to Central. I used to stay with her with some of my friends, and it was interesting what she would do. She would go to work in the morning, walk till Friday, Saturday, earn money, and then go to the most expensive shop in the UK and buy an outfit, and go out for a party on Saturday night and come back tired, drunk on Sunday, wake up on Monday, go back to work, and just to make money, to go back to another party. People live like this. You may think think you don't. And I was sharing with my congregation the other day, trying to remind them to say, listen, we think we're not like that, but we are. Because if you think about it, we think about how good we look in church, because we can't do it in the world, we can drink, we can go out to have parties, we can dress, we can be fashionable, we can be in the cutting edge, we can be seen, doing all the things that are supposedly carnal. So the only place we can do it is in church, but that's not the purpose of the church. The purpose of the church, we are the only organization that exists for its members. And if you and I don't get up and decide, listen, we've got to do this. We've got to carry this out. We've got to function. We've got to go back to his purpose. And now, let me stop and say this long enough. If you have an equipment, if you have, I don't know what to say now, a computer, I'm looking at computers right now, an iPad, tablet, you could use it for a trade. You could use it for cutting board, you could use it for playing games or doing things on top of it. You could use it as a note, as a paper clip holder. Now, there'd be no fulfillment until that iPad or that computer is doing its function. That's the same thing with you. These things are never going to satisfy. I know it's easy to theorize and then say to people, listen, you're not going to be satisfied with anything less than God. It's easy to say, but people don't believe you until they get there and practice it. When the church has been restored to its original purpose, you will see individual believers restored to their own individual purpose. And that's why our theme for this year is restoring purpose. It's restoring purpose for the church, but it's more important restoring purpose for you. And that's why we're studying the purpose-driven church, purpose-driven life, as a book for all of us to look at in this period of the anniversary. And we'll all be powerful vessels of reconciliation and restoration that we are all called to. The world is desperate. Listen, on Sunday we spoke about worship, and worship is not singing slow songs, but the ultimate of evangelism is worship. As a matter of fact, the outflow of worship is out to evangelism. God is not so much interested in people getting. I think that's one of the reasons why we haven't seen a great deal of progress, and even in the Christian world, and why the impact of our Christian faith has been so limited. It's because we've limited worship to singing and praising God in church. Well, if worship becomes what it's supposed to be, a lifestyle, the outflow would have been evangelism, and people would have changed. You become what you worship. And I remember it was Bill Johnson who said that God doesn't look for worship, he looks for worshipers, because you become what you worship. And I heard the story many years ago in India of this river that kills people, overflows his bank, destroys crop. And these people would offer its sacrifices and they would put it in certain corners of the river. Now, it didn't occur to them once to dam the river, to stop it from flooding and killing people, simply because you can't be better than what you worship. And so you and I must take this very, very seriously. We must also understand that most will actually find their place where they function in ministry, in the place of their occupation. I've never seen something more important that we need to emphasize right now than this. It's not meetings in church that are fulfilling. It's actually what we do. And I remember Pastor Musumu spoke to us on October 1st, which was the actual date that we had. And so he reminded us that the virgins, the 5 virgins were wise, and they had oil in their lamps. And he says, well, one of the things people don't understand is prayer is putting oil in your lamp. Coming to church is putting oil in your lamp. And if we don't understand all this, we'll focus on that and not on preparing for the bridegroom, on going out to meet him, on doing the service that we need to do along the way. We're not here for meetings. We're not gathered together for meetings. We're not gathered together to a place where people are just going to just come and celebrate, and we come, musicians come and sing, and it's powerful, and they sing again, and it's powerful. And at the end of the day, do you get more born again? You don't. Like, they refresh you, they fill up your tank. But the people that truly need to be touched are those who are outside the faith. And We are the only organization that exists for its number. He says, when this happens, both our place in the body of Christ and our career can be far more fruitful and fulfilling than otherwise possible. You and I have got to understand this. We've got to see this. We've got to believe this. We've got to understand that this is exactly what God is trying to do for us. This is exactly what God is trying to show us. He's trying to show us how to have a fulfilling life, a fulfilled life. We're never going to be satisfied with money. We're never going to be satisfied. Even with marriage, we're never. You see, because I've discovered that marriage is not a destination, it's a journey. The reason why we're married is because God put us into a vehicle to take us to a destination. Without that destination, even the marriage makes no sense. And I'm speaking to myself now. We have a place we're going with our marriage. We have a place we're going with our wealth. We have a place we're going with our internet. We have a place we're going with the things God has put in our care. And that's where we find fulfillment. Otherwise, we're in trouble. All right? If we have our priorities in the right order, we will not think of ourselves as an engineer, a lawyer, a doctor first, or we'll think ourselves in relation to the ministry. And our occupation is a place that we walk in. So can I really speak to you? It's not going to be very long. I just want to wake us up to making rediscovering purpose. You know, I was thinking this evening before I it's not about us. You know, when I look at what we do in church, when I look at the projects we get involved in, the welfare projects, the Bible studies and the songs we sing and the special things we do, even drama. If we could just turn it around and face the world, if we could just turn it around and repackage it for the world, we're going to make a huge impact in ways and manners that we never thought was possible. We will not think of ourselves as engineers first, lawyers first, doctors first. I began to ask on Sunday, where is worship in your business, in your profession, in your career? What's the kingdom in your profession? I began to ask myself the same question. Where is worship in my business? How do I reach out? What are the things I need to do? I need to do something about it. I also know quickly begin to do something about it in my business. You to worship and kingdom in my business. Let's change. All right. It says, but we think when we will think of ourselves in relation to our ministry first and our occupation, the place that we will walk in our ministry. In this way, our office, our business, even our sports can become a garden that we get to cultivate and bear fruit. This is the ultimate. This is the ultimate. If we're not pursuing our spiritual ministry and our purpose above any earthly mission, any earthly position or profession, then we are serving the world first and not the Lord. This is the first step. It's time to reawaken us. It's not about how beautiful the auditorium is. It's not about how wonderful your sound systems are. It's not as good as how good your choir sings. It's bigger than that. And as we're told in Matthew chapter 6, verse 8, seek ye first his kingdom, his righteousness, and all these things will be added. If we pursue anything before the kingdom, we will become at the very least distracted from our ultimate purpose. We must always, in everything, keep our purpose first. We need to be purpose driven. Many will then be called to pursue other skills or professions as part of their kingdom purpose. But these must always be kept as a means to a greater purpose. These are such profound principles. We need to take them. If our life is not founded on our kingdom purpose first, then we will never know true fulfillment. peace or satisfaction in this life. So I want to stop there. Because what we have ahead of us. Now please listen to me. God is excited. God is so excited. God is so exciting that we need not think it's going to be boring. His creativity knows no bounds. People are amazed to see that in the Bible, the first mention of the Holy Ghost is not found in the spiritual man. The first mention of the Holy Ghost is not found in the temple offering sacrifices. It's a man called Bassey building a temple, construction, design, interior. You'll be amazed at what the things God wants to use to touch one. Horse racing, football, drama, movies. We need to understand that God is more exciting than our human minds can comprehend. It's so exciting that we can see God in ways and means we've never seen. This will blindside the enemy. He'll never see us coming. You know, I sat in a meeting, I don't give too much away, where there's been so many traps set for Christian organizations into this gay and LGBT movement. The Christians are being trapped either they refuse to bake cakes and do things like that, and be arrested or sued or something happens, or in the situation of abortion and so on and so forth. Now, we know where we stand on these things, but the point one of the things I felt like God kept telling me was, in between those extremes, those who are fighting for gay rights and those who are fighting for church rights, are real human beings. Real human beings who desperately need them. We can get so involved in the fight and forget the reason why we fight. We need to rescue people, bring them from death into life. You know, I really believe as we fulfill these circumstances, as we begin to put our focus on these things, the things we're desiring to see, better governance, love. The Bible says the love of many will wax cold. It's waxing super cold. It's unbelievable how cold we are to each other. God will help us. He always does. So let me encourage you. I've said I'm going to keep my messages as short as I can. I know there are more questions than there are answers, but I must tell you this. God is excited. The things he wants to do through us. Oh God, the movies, the adverts, the culture, the drama, the football matches, the entertainment industry, the construction industry. The way he's going to use us, the craftsmen, we're going to see a wonderful manifestation of the Holy Ghost that we've never seen. There's going to come an outpouring of the Holy Ghost we've never seen or understood before. And I want you to be a part of it. I don't want you to sit on the fence and just think this is just going to happen by itself. No. We've got to say, God, I want to fulfill the purpose. My life is bigger than just earning money. You know, when I was younger, I went to a school called Federal Government College. It was in a city called Lange, which is about 150 to 250 kilometers from Lagos. And my father had just died. I was 10 years old. And so I didn't really grow up with anybody telling me about it was life. I remember going home one day with a friend of mine. This was in A-levels. This was like 5 years after I'd entered into school. I was doing my A-levels. I went to this gentleman's house and he just kind of loved me, took me with his son. He was the first person I ever turned to and I said, it doesn't make sense to me because God couldn't have brought me to this world. Suffer, have children, work hard to pay their school fees, give them a home, help them to get through school, to survive, and then die, and then they now to work hard, suffer, to look after their children. So that can be all. You couldn't give me just biblical answer. But you understood what I'm saying. That has always been on the back of my mind. It can be. It can be to have cars. It can be to just sit down and enjoy yourself on the beach. Life just has to have more purpose. And even as Christians, life can be coming to church on Sunday, just singing songs, holding hands and shouting Kumbaya. It can't be. There's got to be more to life in the same way. So let me encourage you. Let me encourage you. Dedicate this moment to seeking purpose. Just ask God to help you rediscover your purpose, and to help us in the church rediscover our purpose. Because this year, we are getting it. God bless you. See you for the weekend, 7 starts. And, let me